Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. I'm glad you're here today because what we're about to talk about is something millions of Americans are confused about, hopeful about, and in many cases, counting on. Over the past few days, a wave of breaking news has spread across the country, and many seniors, working families, veterans, and people living on Social Security or disability benefits have been asking the same question: are we actually getting the $2,000 check? Today, I'm going to explain everything clearly, slowly, and in plain English so you can understand what's real, what's rumor, and what it truly means for your wallet. There has been a lot of noise, a lot of headlines, and a lot of excitement. But as always on this channel, my goal is to give you information that is factual, reliable, and easy to understand, especially for older adults who rely on accurate news to make decisions about their finances. So let's break this down step by step. First, here's what started everything. Former President Donald Trump posted a message announcing his commitment to sending out $2,000 payments to low-income and middle-income Americans. And according to the White House, this plan would be funded using revenue from tariffs, money collected from taxes placed on imported goods like steel, cars, pharmaceuticals, and many other products. Trump called this a dividend, similar to the payments Alaska gives its residents from oil revenue. But in this case, the dividend would come from tariff revenue. Let me say that again, because this is the foundation of everything. Trump stated publicly that he wants to take money collected from tariffs and give at least $2,000 directly to American citizens who qualify. And then, the remaining tariff money, after the payments are made, would go toward paying down the national debt, which is now over $37 trillion. Now, this announcement created a huge reaction. People online started saying the checks were already approved. Some said executive orders had been signed. Others believed the money was already being issued. Unfortunately, that part is not true, and I want to make sure you don't fall for misinformation or scams. No payments have been sent, no checks have been approved, and no law has been passed yet. But the idea is real, the commitment is real, and the White House has confirmed that this plan is being discussed seriously. Let's talk about who might qualify, because this is the part most people care about. Trump made it very clear in his post that high-income Americans will be excluded. This is not a universal payment. It's not like the COVID stimulus checks that nearly everyone received. This is targeted support meant specifically for low and middle-income citizens. But what does low and middle income actually mean? Since Trump didn't give an exact number, we look at the closest existing proposal, which came from Senator Josh Hawley. He introduced a tariff dividend bill in the past, and that bill used an income limit of $100,000 per year. That means if you earn $100,000 or less, you would likely qualify. If you make more than that, you'd likely be excluded. But it goes deeper than that. Trump specifically said the payment would go to U.S. citizens only, not permanent residents, not visa holders, not individuals without citizenship status. So this program is strictly limited to U.S. citizens and only those in low to middle income brackets. So who does that include? It includes millions of working families who are struggling to pay bills. It includes seniors living almost entirely on Social Security benefits. It includes veterans living on disability payments or modest retirement benefits. It includes single parents juggling several jobs. It includes disabled Americans who rely on SSDI. These groups are exactly who this payment is targeting. On the other hand, it excludes high-income earners, and Trump was very upfront about that. So if someone is earning well above six figures per year, they would not be considered for this program. Now, let me address something that has caused confusion. A lot of people saw headlines saying Trump signed an executive order. Many thought that executive order was the $2,000 payment, but that is incorrect. The executive order he signed recently, together with former First Lady Melania Trump, was focused on helping teenagers in the foster care system. It was an important piece of work, but it had nothing to do with stimulus or tariff dividend payments. So if you saw a headline saying Trump signs executive order, please understand that it was unrelated. The $2,000 payments have not been ordered, signed, or executed by law yet. Now let's talk about the big question: where is the money actually coming from? Tariffs. Tariffs are taxes placed on imported goods, and the administration has claimed that these tariffs are bringing in a very large amount of revenue. Some say trillions over time. Trump's argument is that instead of letting all that money sit in government accounts or disappear into general spending, a portion of it can be returned to the American people. Think of it as a form of revenue sharing. That's why Trump calls it a dividend. It's like companies paying shareholders when profits exceed a certain amount. Except here, the shareholders are American citizens. But here's the part you must listen to carefully. Even though Trump has publicly committed to this idea, there is still no official timeline. There is no date for when checks might be sent out. There is no legislation yet, and without legislation, there is no legal mechanism to send the payments. During COVID, the stimulus checks could go out quickly because Congress acted fast. They passed the bills immediately, and the IRS already had the payment system ready from the first round. But in this case, everything would need to be built from scratch unless Congress reuses existing IRS systems. So when would these checks arrive? Trump has said real soon, but real soon could mean weeks, it could mean months, or it could be longer. The truth is, we do not know. And I want to be honest with you because many seniors depend on accurate information when budgeting for rent, medications, groceries, utilities, and everyday expenses. Until a bill is passed, this remains a promise, not a confirmed payment. Now let's take a moment to understand what this payment would mean for different groups across America. For working families earning under $100,000, a $2,000 check could make a massive difference. It could cover a full month of groceries, catch up on overdue bills, pay down high-interest debt, or help build a small emergency savings fund. For seniors living primarily on Social Security, a one-time $2,000 payment could help offset the rising cost of medications, doctor visits, co-pays, or essential items like food, heating, and mobility equipment. For veterans, many of whom rely on disability checks or limited retirement benefits, this money could help stabilize monthly expenses. For single parents, the reality is even more powerful. Childcare, school supplies, food, housing, all of these expenses have increased dramatically. A $2,000 payment would help them afford the basics. And for Americans living with disabilities and receiving SSDI, this payment could represent months of breathing room because disability income often falls far short of actual living costs. It's important to understand that Trump knows these groups are struggling. Inflation is still high. Food prices remain elevated. Utility bills have increased. Rent is rising across the country. Medical costs continue to climb. Seniors on fixed incomes are under enormous pressure. Veterans are facing delays and rising expenses. Millions of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So the intention behind the $2,000 payment is to provide meaningful relief. And whether you agree with the policy or not, the financial challenges facing Americans today are real. Now, let's talk about the political side of this, because politics plays a huge role in whether a proposal becomes a reality. Trump made this announcement publicly on Truth Social. That means millions of people saw it. When a politician makes a promise this publicly, they create pressure for themselves. Breaking a quiet promise is easy. Breaking a public promise that millions of Americans are counting on, that's much harder. Politicians know that, and that's why many experts believe there is real momentum behind this idea. So, what should you do right now? First, stay informed. News on stimulus proposals changes quickly. When the government releases official details, income limits, eligibility rules, application requirements, or payment dates, you want to be among the first to know. Second, check your eligibility. If you're a U.S. citizen and your income is under $100,000 per year, you're likely in the potential group. But please don't count on this money yet. Do not skip bills. Do not delay rent or medication payments because you expect a check. Nothing is guaranteed until the government signs it into law. Third, look into available assistance programs you can use right now. SNAP, LIHIP for heating bills, Medicaid expansions, state emergency funds. There are real programs available immediately. Many people qualify but never apply. And fourth, keep your information updated with the IRS. If you moved, changed bank accounts, or haven't filed taxes recently, make sure your records are correct. When previous stimulus payments went out, millions of checks were delayed simply because IRS records were outdated. Now let's put this into perspective by comparing it to past stimulus checks. During the pandemic, Americans received three major payments: $1,200 in April 2020, $600 in December 2020, and $1,400 in March 2021. Each payment had income limits and phase-out rules. The proposed $2,000 tariff dividend would be larger than any single COVID stimulus check. But the difference is that COVID payments were emergency relief passed during a global crisis. This proposal is a dividend from tariff revenue, which is a different category entirely and involves more political debate. Finally, let's talk about the bottom line. As of today, Trump has publicly committed to a $2,000 payment for low and middle-income U.S. citizens. The White House has acknowledged this is being considered seriously, but no payments have been issued, no laws have been passed, and no dates have been confirmed. We are in the stage of public commitment, not the stage of guaranteed payments, but the level of detail and public pressure behind this proposal makes it more real than anything we've seen so far. I know many of you are struggling. I know prices are high. I know seniors on Social Security are battling rising costs with limited monthly checks. I know veterans are carrying heavy burdens. I know families are choosing between groceries and bills. I wish I could tell you exactly when money will arrive, but the truth is we are still waiting for official action. What I can promise you is that I will continue to follow this story closely and update you the moment anything changes. Thank you for listening today. If this information helped you understand what's happening with the proposed $2,000 payments, please share this video with someone who needs clarity. Stay safe, take good care of your health, and remember, you're not alone. We're all navigating this together.